time is now 200 hours. Of the 3 torpedoes that set off to enter the port of Gibraltar, 1 has been lost with both crews killed in action. However, SLCs 2 and 3 are still on their way and approaching the entrance around the North Mole. Now it's the fault check phase, and we roll to see if any of our SLCs may have equipment malfunctioning. Our roll is a 2, SLC 2. We reveal a faults card, transmission fault, and unless Tesei and Pedretti successfully repair this fault, the transmission will break down. Luckily for the crew, they have a skill of 2, so they roll 2 dice, and they also have a +1 repair die roll modifier. So we roll 2d6, and it's a 3 and a 1 modified to a 4 and a 2. Unfortunately, the transmission breaks down. That means that SLC2, while the transmission is malfunctioning, cannot conduct a full move. That is, it cannot move 2 hexes while submerged or 3 while surfaced. Now we proceed to the SLC phase, and we begin with SLC1, which is currently surfaced. We see that Birindelli and Pacagnini are on their readied side, so they have 2 actions. And it seems like it's a good time to submerge before the patrol boats can get near the SLCs. So they will take the dive action. The question is, will SLC1 use both action points to ensure its success, or will they make a pilot skill roll? SLC1 is surfaced, which increases its chance of detection. So it will use both of its action points to dive. And that ends the action phase for SLC1. Now we go to SLC2, which has the transmission malfunctioning and cannot make a full move. SLC2 wants to attempt to enter the net's hex, and that is conducted with a successful evade action. But for that, it must first move adjacent to the net. So that means that the crew of SLC2 will not attempt to repair the transmission at this time, and they will first conduct a move action, and that spends 1 action point, and it's successful automatically. And the SLC is now adjacent to the anti-torpedo net. Now SLC2 will take the evade net action using its remaining action point. That means it will not be automatic. They have to roll using their ops skills, which is just 1, meaning they roll 1 die, and the success of the action depends on the anti-torpedo net harbor defense level, which we see here that for a submerged SLC, it has to roll a 4 or more. So we roll 1d6, and the roll is a 2, so SLC2 cannot enter the net's hex. Now we move on to the harbor defense phase, and we begin with the searchlight segment. Both SLCs are submerged, so only on an 11 or more will they be detected. And we begin with SLC1. The alert card is a 2, so it remains undetected. Now we proceed to check for SLC2. An 8, so it also remains undetected. Now we proceed to check for patrol craft response both SLCs are submerged and undetected, so only on 10 or more will the patrol craft conduct a response. So we check for SLC-1. Close call, that's a 9, but there's going to be no response. Now we check for SLC-2. A 7, no response. Now we proceed to patrol craft movement, and we roll using this diagram for each of the 2 patrol boat units, since there is no SLC that is detected on the map. Note that on a 7 or 8, the patrol craft will not move, and on a 1 through 6, it will move 1 hex in the direction indicated by the diagram. So we start with patrol craft number 1, and if it rolls a 1, it will be next to SLC-1. Otherwise, it will not be adjacent to that SLC. So we roll 1d8. The roll is a 4, and it moves farther away from SLC-1. Now we roll for the second patrol craft, and it will be adjacent on a 1 or 2 to SLC-1. But the roll is a 5, so it too moves 1 hex away from SLC-1. So we finished patrol craft movement. There is no patrol craft attack because they are not in the same hex as one of our SLCs. Now we go to the cleanup phase, and we would remove any patrol craft that is 4 hexes or more away from the closest SLC. We don't remove any of the patrol craft on the board. And we advance the time token to 230 hours. And we have to make now a fault check to see if any equipment on our SLCs or its crews malfunctions at this time. So we roll the SLC die. Roll is a 1, so we have to check for SLC-1. And we flip a faults card, and it's a battery fault. And only if we roll a 6 now will the SLC not lose its last remaining battery disc. And if it loses that disc, it cannot move. And if it cannot move, the operators will have to abort their mission and attempt to make it safely back to the Italian submarine and back to Italy. So we roll 1d6. Man, the roll is a 3, so SLC-1's battery is completely damaged, meaning that it will not be able to be repaired during the game, so the SLC cannot move. It certainly changes the complexion of the mission when SLC-1 was so close to entering the harbor and approaching target ships. Now we proceed to the SLC phase, and we start with SLC-1. And because SLC-1 cannot move and will not be able to move for the rest of the mission, the crew will abort the mission, and that is represented in the game by conducting a scuttle SLC action. And of course, if you use both actions, it is automatic. And that's what the crew will do. So the SLC is scuttled, and we place the counter in the SLC scuttled space corresponding to SLC-1. And now we immediately take an escape action. Here we see that the escape is a special action that can only be taken in response to a trigger, and that is immediately taken as a result of a successful scuttle action. Now we make a stamina skill check, and we use the highest die roll result and modify it by any of the applicable modifiers. And the one that is going to apply here is the +1 because the time token is on the 500 or earliest box. And there's another +1 because the operators are readied. So the operators have to make a stamina check, but because their breathing gear token is gone, there will be a -1 to the die roll because their stamina has been reduced. So it's a total +1. And here are the possible results. 3 or less and the operators are captured. 4 or higher and they escape. So we roll 1d6 and add 1. A 5 modified to a 6 and they escape, and we move the operator card to the operator's escape space on the game board. So we place Birindelli and Pacagnini's card in the operator's escaped box. Note that if they had been captured, we would be awarded 1 victory point. However, the SLC was scuttled. That's 1 victory point that we will receive. And because they escaped, that will be worth another victory point. So right now we have 2 victory points. So we remove SLC1's display from the game. And now we go to SLC2, which is adjacent to the anti-torpedo net. Transmission has broken down, meaning it cannot conduct a full move. But being next to the net allows the operators to conduct an evade net action, which they failed in the previous turn. But this time, if they use both their action points, it will be successful. They will use both their action points to successfully conduct an evade net. Now, the SLC moves straight ahead into the net's hex. Now we go to the harbor defense phase, and we start with searchlights. Because SLC2 is submerged, only on an 11 or more will it be detected. The alert card is a 5, so it remains undetected. Now to the patrol craft response, and being submerged means that only on a 10 or more will any patrol craft respond. So we flip the next alert card, and it is a 10, so the patrol craft do respond. Because they successfully responded, we place a detected token on SLC2. And we place the patrol craft with the lowest number, that is number 3, which is off the map, in front of the now detected SLC, and the patrol craft is with its exhausted side face up. Now to patrol craft movement, and the 2 patrol craft units 2 and 1, which you see here, are 6 hexes away from the detected SLC. So we roll to see how each patrol on the board will move using this diagram. We start with patrol craft 1, and the roll is a 1. Now we roll for patrol craft number 2. The roll is a 6. There is no patrol craft attack because there's no patrol craft in the same hex as our SLC. So now we go to the cleanup phase. And because patrol craft 1 and 2 are 4 or more hexes away from the sole detected SLC, we remove the patrol craft counters from the board. Now we flip the exhausted patrol craft number 3 to its ready side. That's the end of the end phase, and now we move on to the next turn. And it is O300. The sole remaining SLC, SLC-2, is currently entering the harbor. It has negotiated the anti-torpedo net, but it is detected. And we'll place the detected marker to the side so that you can notice that it is also submerged. And the SLC's transmission has broken down, meaning that it cannot make a full move, in which case, when it is submerged, if all systems are functioning, it could move 2 hexes and try to shake off the patrol craft. But for now, the most it can move is a regular 1 hex move. Now we go to the fault check phase, and only on an SLC die roll of 2 will we check for any fault for our lone SLC. The roll is a 3, so no check is made on SLC2. Now we go to the SLC phase. Our commandos are ready, so we have 2 actions. The transmission has broken down, and this is no time to fix it with a patrol craft right next to where we want to move. So, what are our options at this time? We can choose the move action that only consumes 1 action and ensures that our SLC will move 1 hex forward. But do we want to move 1 hex straight ahead and be in the same hex as the patrol craft? Of course not. So we need to take a change direction action, and currently we are submerged, meaning that with 1 action point, that action is not automatic. We need a 4 or more. And if we do only a change direction action, we could use both actions to ensure that, but we would just remain where we are with the detected token in our hex. So we have to get out of that hex and we have to be submerged. So we will attempt a change direction action by spending 1 action point to try to change the direction 60 degrees to the left. And for that we need a 4 or more. That is a pilot skill, and we only have a skill of 1, so we only roll 1 die. So we roll 1d6, and the roll is a 6, so we successfully change direction. And now we conduct our move action, which is automatic and spends the 2nd action point. And because we are submerged, the detection token does not follow us, and we remove it from the map. So far, so good. Now we move on to the harbor defense phase. On to searchlights, and we are submerged, so 11 or more is needed to detect our SLC. We flip the next face down alert card. A 10, boy, that was close. And the searchlights having failed to locate our SLC, now it's the patrol craft's chance to do so. And we are submerged, so the defenses need a 10 or more. We flip the next alert card, and it is the infamous 12 card. So we have been detected, and we place a detected marker on the SLC, and the 12 card is special because now we remove the lowest number cards from the discard pile for a maximum of 6, and we shuffle the entire deck. And the lowest numbered cards are 1, 2, 2 3s, and 3 4s. So we remove these and we shuffle the remaining alert cards to form a new draw pile. And we take the lowest number patrol craft, which is not on the board, which is this number 2 craft, and it is placed in the hex to which our SLC is pointing to, which is the same hex that has the HMS Wishart. And the patrol craft is placed on its exhausted side. Now we move on to patrol craft movement. And because there is a detected token within 3 hexes of a ready patrol craft, which is number 3, we now move that patrol craft onto the hex that has the SLC. Now we proceed to patrol craft attack, and there is a patrol craft in the same hex as our SLC, which is submerged. So we will flip an alert card, and our SLC will be successfully hit only on a 10 or more. So we flip the next alert card, and it's a close call, a 9. That's the end of the harbor defense phase. Now we go to the end phase, or cleanup phase, and now we flip the exhausted patrol craft to its ready side. Now the time advances to 0330 hours. Will SLC-2 make it in one piece out of its current predicament? Stick around for the next episode of By Stealth and Sea. This is Stuka Joe, signing off for now. Thanks for watching.